Club live show is about to go down. Fans Club live show is about to go down. We got a lot to unpack. I got my panel of experts. You want to tune in, you want to watch us, you want to leave comments and be interactive. This is an interactive show. We need you. So make sure you pay attention. It's about to go down. Fans Club live show for the fans, by the fans. You will not get this type of analysis anywhere else. I can promise you. I say it all the time. Why? It's the best night of the week. Fans Club live show is about to go down. Get yourself ready. Ladies and gentlemen, it's about to go down. Get yourself ready. Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is the best night of the week because you know why? Fans Club Live Show is on. And listen, my panel of experts the last couple of weeks have been on their A game. And I expect the same tonight. It's a lot to unpack, man, and we got to give props. We gave props last week where props was due. We did a thorough NFL prospect breakdown. Guys brought some good people on, put them on the radar. We're going to still dive into that tonight because I got Mark on here, so I know Mark didn't get a chance last week to give me that. So he's going to give me that as well as Trey. But we also gave props to the NCAA, which was going on. They were in the Final Four at the time. And now, clearly, that is now done. We know who the national champions are on the men's and women's side. But Mark and Trey, a couple of things have transpired as a result of those two games. Well, one game's kind of gone, it's over, faded into the black, it's over. Another game is still being talked about. And what's surprising is, and not surprising because the talent's not there, it's just that I don't remember a time where the women have been the headline like this. Whether good or bad, I don't remember it being like this since maybe Brittany Griner when she was throwing it down at Baylor and all of that. So we got to make sure we give them their props, and then we're going to dive in couple of things with NBA, see what's going on with the seating there because some moves are being made. But again, this is Fans Club Live Show for the fans, by the fans. Salute to you both. Let me check in and make sure you guys are good. Trey was the first one on, man. History in the What's going on, Trey? How you doing, my brother?
Good. Nothing much. I'm blessed. How are you?
Blessings, man. Doing good, my brother. Happy belated, right? Like I'm a day off, right? Happy belated birthday to you, man.
Thank you.
You want to tell the world how old you are out there with all that youth, man? How old are you, sir? If you don't mind us knowing.
21.
Look, I might put his Cash App up there in case you want to send some dough to the young man to be a blessing to him. That's
yes,
why.
Sir. Let me know.
I got you. Listen, I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna make sure I put that up there, man, because and also, 21. Young man in college doing his thing. Applause to you, sir. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
We like to see that, man. We like to see the young people out there striving to become great. You're on the road to it, and you already know. We already had a talk. So when the time comes, got some things to make sure you are on that path to get whatever your dreams are. You already know.
Yes, sir.
All right, excellent. Salute to you, sir. Mark, what's going on, man? Good to see you, man. I missed you last week. I said, listen, we got the draft day. Listen, Terrence and David and myself may have done you proud with the way we broke down some of the draft prospects that we brought to the attention of, our listeners and our viewers, man. So today I'm going to make sure I give you the floor to be able to give us some of that as we get ready for the draft, which is right around the corner. Salute to you, sir.
Salute, man. I saw the show was excellent. You guys know exactly how to go about doing it. So, I apologize for missing last week, but I'm okay this week. So, yeah. Let's have a good show, man.
I love it, man. I love it. So listen, man, we not gonna hesitate. We got our sound check out the way, and we are going to sort of chime in, man. I'm gonna start with what's going on with the NCAA championships game, men and women's basketball. We'll start with that first, to see, what's your thoughts on. Key thing, which game was more exciting? Not the Final Four. We talking about the championship game. Yeah, San Diego State taking on, for the men, San Diego State taking on UConn. We know UConn is UConn. They do what they do. On this show, the prediction last week was pretty much everybody had UConn. Even Terrence. Even him with knowing that UConn was a tough adversary for his Miami University to face. He already knew it was going to be a blowout. He called it, so props to you, man. I want to know, let's start with the men first because the women got a whole lot more to unpack. So, Trey, since you was on first, sir, give me your thoughts on how you think this game went. Why did it become so lopsided? And shout out to, of course, Jersey City's own Danny Hurley, Coach Danny Hurley. So, yeah, man. Go ahead, sir.
Man, I didn't think the men's game was going to be too exciting simply because of the fact that it was two teams that nobody thought would be there at the start of this season.
Mm-hmm.
And it just was like, as you saw, San Diego State, they had a nice trip to it. They had some big games they played. They played number 1 seed Alabama. Shout out to Jersey, Javon Quinterly out of Hackensack. Without Matt, you know, he did his thing. But
it's in Catholic in the building.
Yeah, but as San Diego State definitely came and gave them a run for their money, and I haven't seen Alabama kind of get just fought, like just outbeat, just beat up like that in a while when it came to NCAA basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely a congrats to San Diego State for even getting there. I definitely, watching the game, you could tell their whole lineup just played with a whole bunch of heart.
Yeah,
like they just want to win, and they just got a will to win. Definitely a shout out to them. UConn, as you know, they always an NCAA superstar regardless of the side.
Yeah,
coaching is always great. They always doing their thing, but for sure, I knew UConn had it in the bag. I know I wasn't on the show last week, but I had a feeling UConn had it in the bag. But the only way San Diego State would have won that game is if they dominated in the paint, and that's simply because of the bigs that they have on their team. They can be superstars. They using their size against that team would have definitely got them the dub.
Right.
But definitely congrats to both for even getting to that national stage for sure. Yes. But definitely congrats to UConn for winning it all.
Excellent. Yeah, man, they like you said, nobody pegged them to be in the position, neither one, especially, let's be honest, San Diego State. You're like Phoenix that rose from the ashes, that kind of like, you know, we love those stories where it's the schools that they're popular for some other things, like their big football school and things like that, but for basketball, for them to take that leap to get to the championship game when they have so many great schools for basketball in their conference. Applause to them, man. They were on one. They were on one. So applause to them, man. We appreciate it that I like to see those underdog schools get into a dog fight, even if they don't end up winning. The fact that you made it, you know, young men, hang your heads high and, you know, regroup. And now you know what it takes. Hopefully next year you'll be able to get over that hump. And, you know, now that you got a taste of what it's going to feel like, you got that experience under your belt, maybe next time it'll be a different result. So, yeah, I appreciate it. I like that. I like that breakdown. All right, cool. Mark, I don't know how familiar, man, if you took any time out to watch any of the championship games. Let's start with the men first. If there was anything that stuck out to you, obviously we grew up with head coach, like know the family personally in terms of like how they run Jersey, like not Jersey City, just New Jersey as a whole. So go ahead, man. What's your breakdown?
It was good to see for the last 2 years that dudes who are directly from Jersey City. Last year, St. Peter's. This year, you know, with Hurley, it was nice to see, man. And I mean, to be honest with you, I knew UConn would win the game. You know, they coming back. They're going to be returning a lot of starters. You know, Hurley learned from the best, which was his dad, which gives him an opportunity to build a dynasty. You know, he can recruit because he just a recruiter. The basketball family in general has it in their blood to be great. You know, so it wasn't. The only thing that was kind of surprising is that he did it so early. That's probably the only thing, is that he did it so early. So I don't think anybody is going to question his prowess as in being the coach, because now he's laid a foundation that when you go to UConn, you got to look at, you know, looking for the NCAA championship. You can't go there just to ball. You got to go there for greatness. And he's established that extremely early. Not only that, he kept the tradition of UConn going, which is humongous, you know, because most coaches don't come in and have success this early. Right. So, I mean, if we're looking at the total picture, we can see UConn within the Sweet 16 for years to come. You know, unlike his previous job, Hurley, was it Iona? Was it Iona?
I think it was. Yeah, it was either Iona or good question. I gotta find out. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Well, regardless of that fact, they won't have to worry about him leaving anyway. He's at the pinnacle of college basketball coaching. There's very few schools that I think he would take another job at. When you're at UConn, you're at the pinnacle. You know what I'm saying? So it's only few jobs within that top 10 that you can say, you know what, I'm here for the duration of my contract, and I plan on honoring it. Now with the national championship under his belt, only thing he did was exceed expectations and give himself longevity to be able to recruit. You know he's got Jersey on lock. You know, whenever he wants to come down here to get the best players, New York he probably has pretty much on lock. So he's gonna make sure.
Island. That was the other school. He came from Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Well, what he has established now is giving him a jumping, point for next year and years to come, because now when you go into someone's living room, a prospect's living room, number one thing you can say is coming off a national championship, looking to get another one. Yep. So that was huge for University of Connecticut. And salute to the Hurley family, huge basketball background. If you're from anywhere within Jersey, state of New Jersey, but especially in Jersey City, you know that it's nothing new, and you kind of expect greatness from him.
It was amazing, man. And this is we all Jersey, we're all Jersey heads here, so it's dead our heart when somebody from our town that made it and like they're doing great things, and he on the stage when they're getting, giving their speech and he's getting the award, and they give him the mic and let him know, like, hey man, how does it feel to achieve this? And he's like, he shouts out Jersey City. Like it wasn't like a shout out. He was like Jersey City. Jersey City.
You're supposed to.
That was major.
Yo, that doesn't surprise me. If you are from Jersey City, the first thing you're gonna shout out is you from Jersey City, New Jersey. We're not the Shore. We're not, East Rutherford. We're not New Brunswick. Jersey City, New Jersey, right across the border. Yeah. So when he did that, it just showed the pride, because you from Jersey, for a fact, you going by your bootstraps, you lacing them up, putting your head down, and you going towards your goal. That's how all of us are. We all born and bred like that. So he knows where he comes from and what made him the man that he is. So that was great for him to be able to acknowledge, the little, slice of Jersey that he's from.
It's a small piece, man. It's very small. As we know, last year with St. Peter's getting on the map nationally, it's not a big city. It's very small, but it's got a lot of grit to it. Like people are
talent.
Well, they do what they got to do, and talent. It's an abundance of talent out there in multiple areas, man. Not just sports, but in sports, music, actors. There's array of talent from that town, and we had to give a shout out to them just for the strength of that man, that coach at the pinnacle of his career right now, reaching the highest level of like that you could attain in college basketball, and acknowledging where he came from. Man, he doing that had a ripple effect, because I feel like other young men that are playing basketball are aspiring to be coaches. That gave them like a burst, like, yo, I could do this. So shout out to the entire UConn Huskies, and shout out to Coach Hurley as well. So that's great, man. Lamar said, as we move off of Jersey City for a little bit, he said, Jersey City, New Jersey, we not the Shore. Laugh out loud. Yes, Mark, we not the Shore.
Don't ever get it twisted. Don't ever get it twisted. We don't fist bump and do all of that. You know what I'm saying? We don't go shots. We don't do that.
Not at all. So that's great to see that. The game, as a whole was a letdown in terms of like the score. They got mollywopped. They got stomped. There was just too much. It was too much going on. Their starters were balling for UConn. They had 3 guys in triple digits, and double digits. So just like. And for whatever reason, like you said, Trey, San Diego State didn't quite take advantage maybe of some of the size that they have down low to try to do some things. But they should be able to bounce back from this. Any other take as I get ready to move on to the ladies?
Yeah, well, you got to give it up to San Diego State because out of anybody in the bracket, nobody predicted San Diego State to be in the national championship game, which is good for San Diego State because now they can also use that as a recruiting tool. And evidently, they had enough talent to get there. That's not a fluke. You know what I'm saying? It's not even, you can't even really consider it Cinderella story because San Diego State, they balled. You know what I'm saying? They balled during the regular season. They just ran up against an opponent that's just a little bit more superior, more seasoned. The light wasn't too big. They're used to it. You know what I'm saying? So San Diego State, salute to them also. They also have a chance to do great things in the future also. So it's not a rip against them. It's just, you going up against a team that's used to being there, and now they got a learning lesson. So the next time they go, I'm sure they'll be way more prepared, Yeah.
Yeah, because UConn does have a rich tradition, whether it's ladies or guys. Either way, their name is always mentioned when it comes to the tournament as a whole. So them now being back to that place, being back to that level of being in the, they've always been in the spotlight, but being in the talk for national championship again, like you said, as quick as it already turned around. Applause, man. But again, the Aztecs, shout out to y'all, man. You did a good job. And like Mark said, it does not hurt your recruiting at all to say we won the national championship game. Doesn't hurt. You're going to land some balls.
That's the best recruiting tool you can use, personally, is to show that you can recruit.
We'd be able to win that game if you come here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Go ahead, Trey. Chime in as we move to the ladies, because we definitely don't want to belabor that. We got to get into it's a lot to unpack for them, so that might be a little longer. So go ahead, Trey.
I just wanted to say definitely, I know they didn't get to the national championship, but definitely shout out to the Jersey teams, FDU, and shout out to the Jersey teams, Princeton.
At the beginning.
FDU and Princeton, they showed out. They knew they was very undersized, and they made it a lot further than everybody predicted them to be, especially FDU with the height average. I believe they said was 6'4",
6'4",
and they playing 7-footers.
Yep,
they playing 7-footers, 6'11", 6'10". So that's definitely heart over height for real. That's the definition of the saying for sure. Princeton, them smart boys always gonna figure out a way to beat somebody. So being a 16, 15 seed. And beating the top seed like they did, it was definitely something to show. Definitely good for the New Jersey programs. Just definitely a good thing to see on national TV.
Agreed.
I think fairly welcome the challenge. When you ball over in Jersey, we welcome those challenges. We could care less how big you are and how deep you are. Now I think that's. Purdue got into a situation where they very, very, very much underestimated the heart of those players, and that's another thing. When now it just goes to show you can have the most talent in the world, man, but I'm a strong believer it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the fighting dog. As long as you can go out there and show your talent. Play as a team, listen to your coach, run your offense, play aggressive. Anybody can lose on any day. And that's the greatest part about the tournament is if you don't bring your complete A game and someone else does, you'll go home. It's literally that simple.
Win or go home. We love that. It's not like the NBA where you get 5 chances, 7
Yeah.
chances. No, you get the one shot, and if you just off that game, it's tough, man. Tough for you. You just got to rebuild and come back next year. You know, you're gonna lose some players in the draft or wherever they're gonna go, but hopefully, you know, these schools all, you know, the ones that like came out of nowhere, like you said, not just the Jersey schools, but the Aztecs and the other schools that literally just made it competitive. They made it a great tournament to watch from the beginning, because the FDU one started off the whole thing like, what in the world? Like, so it was good to see that. Let me put a comment here from Lamar. Lamar said, once the Final Four was established, it was UConn's championship to win or lose. They were the superior team of the four. I agree. No arguments there.
I agree.
Even
Definitely.
who's a Miami University fanatic, like no pun intended, literally is like, hey, it's 60% that we could beat UConn. So he kept it real. That is a real strong possibility that UConn could pull that out, which they did. So, all right. So shout out to those teams. Thank y'all for y'all breakdown, man. We gonna now go take a look at the ladies in terms of the game, man. We kind of touched on the Final Four game last week in terms of what was going to take place. We had head-to-head 2 really publicized teams. If you've been paying attention, Caitlin has been out there all year long in the press, as well as Angel Reese. So it's not like these, if you lived under a rock and you just never paid attention to women's basketball, you're just hearing about them now. But for those of us that have been in the know, keeping up with these 2 young ladies and just their schools in itself, you'll know that they've been balling all year long. Trey, let me know your thoughts, man, in regards to the ladies' game and to the women's game, man. How it ended up playing out, the competitiveness of it. Was it more exciting in your eyes than what we've seen from the men? And what do you see this being on the impact for women's basketball? Go ahead, sir.
So I definitely think that the women's games was definitely more exciting than the men's game for sure. It's just when it comes to today's society, as you already know, when it comes to the elite level, the professional level, the NBA and the WNBA is 2 completely different leagues. And I'm not talking about skill. I'm talking about simply the way the press talks about it, simply the way tickets are sold, simply the way that the people in our society just care about the game. You don't really hear about a lot of people speaking about the WNBA. I know people I could walk down the street and ask them name 10 WNBA players, and they won't be able to do that. And it's crazy because at the same time they playing professional basketball on national TV. So I just want definitely just congratulate both teams on getting to that level. Caitlin Clark is definitely already a WNBA first round, first overall, in my opinion, pick. Right now as a junior. So I definitely believe that she has a lot in her future. She's literally the definition of a dog when it comes to that game of basketball. She's only 6 feet flat, but she'll go down there with them big dogs when they down there in the paint. She's very fearless. People calling her the female Steph Curry. She's doing her thing. And when you hear people saying the female Steph Curry, that's a big thing. You comparing Caitlin Clark to a top 2, maybe number 1 shooter ever in the NBA. So definitely congrats to Caitlin Clark. And don't forget Monica Czinano, the big man on Iowa. She did her thing. She was scoring 16, 17 points with 0 dribbles in every game. That's just all about the fundamental of learning the game as a kid and growing up with the footwork. It's not as easy as it seems, even if it's women on the court. There's no reason to down them for any type of way, because they can ball just like the guys you see on NBA.com. So just definitely a shout out to Caitlin Clark and Monica Czinano. Then when you go over to the LSU side, shout out to first and foremost, shout out to that coach. She came over and she said her plan is to win the national championship, and she got it in her I believe her second year. So that's just that's just greatness. That's coaching greatness. And that it comes more
What
with
up, David? Go ahead, sir.
what's up? It comes more than just being a coach. It's more of a relationship with the players, really learning the ins and out of a player. Because to be a championship team, you can't just be coach to player. You got to have some type of connection to each one of them, and you can tell how connected she is when it comes to each one of the players on their team.
Yeah.
So when you talk about Angel Reese and how dominant she's been, shout out to
man.
female dominance in the paint. It's you always think, oh, since it's a game with females in it, okay, they're not gonna be as dominant as men. They might not play bully ball, but Angel Reese plays bully ball, and she doesn't care what's said about her. She's there to win. And as you see in the Final Four game, she drew a ring on her finger because she was prepared to get that ring, and she knew she had to get through a WNBA superstar, and that's what they plan to do. Also, shout out to Alexis Morris being the point guard of that team, the facilitator, the floor general, and she didn't start out too good in the game, and she turned it up by the second half, and she did what she had to do. I forgot her first name, pardon me, but I believe her last name was
Wilson and Carson and Jasmine
Carson came out 5 for 5 at the 3.
6, hitting them threes, man.
She shot the first half at 100%. And
off the bench, right, David?
Yeah, she comes off the bench. She's not a starter.
I'm gonna talk about Carson in a minute.
All right, I got you.
She comes off the bench.
Make sure your connection good because you're a little delayed. Come out and come back in because you're a little delayed, David. I want to make sure you clear when I get you up there. Go ahead, Trey.
She comes off the bench, and one thing I like to see is how these players fight with adversity.
Yes,
I've seen her, and I believe it was one of the final in the Final Four game. I believe she barely played in that game, and she came off the bench late in the game after they was already up. And looking at her body language, it seemed like she kind of didn't want to be in the game at the time because she might have felt like, oh, I might be a bum because I'm not really on the court. But when the time was needed and it was her time to shine, I'm glad she was ready to lace up and come on the court and do her thing and provide for her team for the bigger picture. You might not have really played as much in the Final Four, but you played the most amount of time you probably played all season in the national championship, and you did what you had to do when it really mattered. And you made a great push. You had 5 threes in the first half on fire. Unreal. And that's just the start up of the team. And you playing an elite caliber in the WNBA, so you need everybody on that team to do everything they can to win that game. So definitely a shout out to Carson for sure. Shout out to Florence Johnson being a freshman guard. She played.
Look at the depth, Trey. As I cut you off, as I get ready to transition to Mark to give him a minute, because you're gonna take away all the analysis. He ain't gonna have nothing to break down. Well, listen, the fact that they had their star player had 15 and 10, and then they had 3 other players with 20. That says a lot about the caliber of their team and depth, which we felt like Caitlin is amazing. And we know she's gonna be as competitive and as feisty as anything, but overall, just talent-wise, they had too much depth, in my opinion, on the LSU side. That just even though you got a great player, you still collectively as a team, it was just too much firepower. But thank you for that breakdown. Hold on your thoughts. I'm come back to you. I gotta get you off the floor for you leave him with nothing but scraps. Mark, he on one. You better be ready.
Yeah, man. I watched the whole game. I watched the whole game. I thought it was good. I equate that game, and it's funny because I sat here and I was watching it, and only thing it made me feel like was Duke against Michigan. That's what it felt like. It felt like a Duke Michigan Fab Five versus Duke game, and I personally, minus all the outside chatter of all the things that happen, outside of the game, during the game, but filtered outside of the game. I think for girls basketball, women's basketball, I think that's kind of the shot in the arm that they needed.
Yes.
So people can pay attention. It is a trash talking game. I had 2 daughters who played for, luckily enough. And I knew that the game wasn't prissy. It's not soft and cuddly. These ladies go out there and give it 100%. They go down there and they bang. They got skills. Most of them can beat most dudes that's not on their level. And what that game showed was you can have two polar opposite type of teams. I don't care if they're black, one's white.
You're too
What
loud.
I'm talking about style of play. You know what I'm saying? Where the style of play had it where one team is more inside presence and the other team is more outside presence. One team is more disciplined, one team is more run and gun. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that in the grand scheme of the whole tournament, the apex was that game. I don't think it could have been any two other teams to make that game that prolific. And Caitlin is a monster. You know, I would talk also if I had her skills like that and can go in there and drop 40 without even looking. You know,
Yeah.
I think her presence on the court alone has to get the other team up, and vice versa with Angel. I think, you know, you have to get up for her. I think the whole purpose of them being the alpha ladies that they are is to go out there and prove that they're the best at the game. You know what I'm saying? Anyone could have lost that game. I didn't really particularly like the officiating. You know, I didn't like the officiating. I think they were a little too quick with the whistle, but that's you know, but it affected the game as in foul trouble, but it didn't affect the whole flow of the game. They still let them play, you know, and I think, you know, if anyone was classless, it's the people who didn't look at these ladies and think that they can go out there and play physical, say what they need to say, talk how they want to talk, and back it up. Because both ladies did. Just one came out on top and the other one didn't. But other than that, you know, let these ladies play, man. Let them play. Allow them to go out there and express exactly who they are. Women are strong now. They don't need to be coddled. They don't need their hands held. They need to go out there and handle their damn business. If that means getting on the block, throwing an elbow, and making room so, you know, she can get, you know, you know, the Angel can go and lay it up cool. If that means that Caitlin has to come off of a screen, or, you know what, you're not too great at 3-pointers, I'm going to leave you out there. Yeah, I'm going to leave you out there too. I don't need to sit there and be nice. This is basketball.
Yeah.
So the grand overall scheme, I'm hoping the momentum of these two ladies carry on. And when they do be able to go to the NBA, you know, draft, and they do get drafted, I hope that momentum also carries on, because I like, you know, I personally like two villains. I don't want a good guy and a villain. Give me the two villains, because the two villains are going to do everything they can to win, and they're not going to worry about everybody's feelings and the after talk and all of that. And I think both of those ladies have those qualities. I think both of those ladies have a bright future. I think both of those ladies have allowed young women, little girls, to see, come out here and you ball, they will watch. And kudos to both teams. I don't see really any loser, even though we do have one who won, one who lost. But for the game of women's basketball, they were both winners.
I agree, man. Listen, you broke down that just as good as Trey. Y'all, look, man, it's like a sparring match. I like what I see right now. Y'all came prepared. I appreciate that. That's what I'm talking about. Fans Club Live Show. That's where you gonna get the breakdown. So listen, man, we gonna move. We're still on the ladies. Elephant in the room, gentlemen. We gotta kind of address it, man. Listen, it's everywhere. It's circulated. Let me be clear. I've watched no platform. I have no clue what no one else has said, because I don't do that. I prepared just for this show, so I have no idea what the opinions of other shows have said. I know that Angel Reese has been on a couple of places, but I didn't even click to hear when they popped up on my feed. I didn't want to hear. So I know what it was, because they had the caption, so I know that much. But let's talk about it, gentlemen. Let's dive into it. Mark, you kind of already set it up.
Yeah.
With the fact that
Well, like I said, man,
streets, man.
all that outside chatter, man. Let me explain something to you. When you have a game that passionate and dynamic,
yes,
and on top of having that, you have casual fans, and then you have fans who say, "Oh, you know what? Let me just watch this one game," and then when you see the game, you don't see basketball. What you see is white hour team and the black team. You feel what I'm saying? And
he went there
this is yeah. I mean, we're gonna call it for what it is because it's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? But it's not what it is to a basketball fan. All we saw was two teams playing basketball. All the fly-by-night guys and the fly-by-night people who decided to cover it and give a stupid opinion on it and not know the whole backstory. So what? Caitlyn gave them the "you can't see me." Who cares? You can't see me. Yeah, you can't see me. Right. But yet, I can watch men's basketball, and soon as you get dunked on, this is what you get. Or you get you're too small. Yep. But that's okay.
Yep.
Let's cut the double standard, man. First of all, let's cut the color out. Because the same girls, you're not gonna make me believe Caitlyn ain't never played with no sisters. And you're not gonna make me believe Angel ain't never played with no white girls. That's not realistic. It's not basketball. Yeah. So somewhere along the line, they had to cross line and intersect. So the chances of Caitlyn being on an all-white team when she gets drafted is 0. The chances of Angel getting on an all-black team when she gets drafted is 0. Yep. Only people who are worried about that are the people who don't understand that life isn't the exact same as it used to be. We don't look at it like that anymore. We done got to the point where we look past that and we looking at two athletes, prime of their game, at young, competing at the highest level that they can to represent the schools that they play for. And anything other than that came from that is ridiculous and it's sad. It's sad. It's not sad for the girls. It's sad for the people who had those type of comments, the type of people who sat there and magnified something that was actually nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Because they came and addressed it, and the way they addressed it made all of the people making this big uproar look stupid, man. Like, stupid.
Listen, Caitlyn said it herself. There was no problem with it. And this is coming from the person it's done to. And that just goes to show how thick a skin she has.
Yep.
Because she knows it's a game. She knows that that's part of the game. She understands that the competitive natures and the juices always go off during the game. You are so locked in at the time while you're playing, you don't second guess your actions. But the actions wasn't malicious. It was just, you can go to any playground in America, pick up a basketball, and I can guarantee you the person across from you gonna let you know exactly what they're gonna do to you.
And the stakes,
so
you know, as I go to Trey, great. Look, Lamar giving y'all props. He said perfectly said, Mark. And then earlier when y'all were talking, he said wonderful analysis, gentlemen. Trey, because I want y'all. I'll keep sparring, y'all. Look, I love it. Trey. So listen, man. Like Mark said, it's competitive. What's your take on this, man? With the backlash, and tell me, what Angel said. I know Mark mentioned what Caitlyn said in regards to the backlash that Angel's getting. Tell me what Angel has said in regards to the backlash that she's receiving.
Man, I just wanted to start it out by saying the reason why everything is so magnified is because people's eyes are just now opening to the women's basketball. Women's basketball has always had some type of dominance. Women's basketball they have always played with pride everybody has an ego when it comes to that game, because at the end of the day, everybody is trying to win.
Yes.
That's first and foremost. And as a collegiate athlete myself, I know personally, anytime I step on that field and anybody with me step on that field, there will be trash talk. That just happens. It's a part of the game, and it's not just on a collegiate level.
Yes.
If you think you're better than the next person, you're going to tell him that, or you're going to tell her that, and you're going to try to show that during the game.
Yes.
And that's exactly what Angel Reese did, and that's exactly what Caitlin Clark did. So at the end of the day, media tries to turn it into color, because if you post the picture and you post the video, you see two different shades of colors, one doing it to the opposite side,
right,
who's more dominant in society in the past, and it's a problem to you. It's disrespectful. She's ghetto. She's this. She's that. When in all actuality, they both doing the same exact thing. The same exact thing. And when it came to Angel Reese just continued to say it. I watched a couple of her interviews, and she said there's no beef whatsoever with Caitlin Clark, and that she actually loves Caitlin Clark and everything that she does. There's zero beef, and she just said basically she won the game. So when she's winning the game and she's showing out and her team's doing well, of course she's gonna have a little pride, and of course she's gonna do a little thing. She didn't like that. She felt like her SEC friends from South Carolina got disrespected, right? With the little hand wave, can't see me that Caitlin Clark did
in the middle of the game, mind you. It wasn't at the end.
It wasn't at the end of the game. It's in the middle of the game, right? So it wasn't like it was some beef. It was a little get back. It's a little. I'm in the game. We competitive, and we going to punch you too. We going to bring the punch to you. We know you're an elite level player. We know you're a WNBA player. We know you got the game that you got, but we got a game plan for you. Even though they ain't stop her, but they won the game.
30-6 or 30-8. Like she was.
Yeah. You can't stop her. She is the new Diana Taurasi. She has that exact same type of game to her. She has that exact same type of fire. She's just a lot more outspoken with it. And I would much rather go to a women's basketball game and see that fire than to see them just walk to the bench, just play. Let's just play. That's not the game anymore. I think these ladies know. They put the time into the gym. Mm-hmm. They made sure that they practice as hard as they can. And when they go out there, they're going to show a whole lot of emotion on their sleeve. Rightly so. There's not an athlete that plays any major sport. And I'm sure, Trey, I haven't played football in years. But I will tell you, the minute I hit you, I'm going to let you know I'm going to hit you again. And I'm going to keep on looking to hit you. You don't sit there and be nice. And in basketball, especially at the apex of the last game of the year, you don't leave anything on the floor. You let it all out. You only got one game left. You let it all out. And the saddest part is all you people who look at color, stop looking at black and white TV, man. TV is in full color. Full color. That means black, white, brown, orange, whatever color you want. But guess what? Everybody's playing the same sport. There is no dominant person. There is dominant players, but there's no dominant race. Yeah. Because the best player in college basketball was Caitlin. Hands down, non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. And the fact that she ended up losing to a team, that was just as good but better than hers on that day. They could have played 10 more times and she might have won, but on that day, she took it like a champ. She didn't take the trash talking on either side personal because they are amongst the same team, as in they're trying to uplift women basketball, and the ratings showed they did exactly what they went out to accomplish.
Through the roof.
Yep.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you for that. Let him chime in on that. Look, I like that. Y'all ping pong. Listen, y'all on it, man. Y'all on it. I want to read a comment, then I'm going back to you, Trey, to finish your thought. I hope you kept your thought in your head.
Yeah.
Lamar said, Caitlin Clark said she had no problem, which is what you said, Mark, with the you can't see me. She said it's part of the game. People looking at color had the problem. That's a fact. Any of you idiots, because I got to say it as clear as day, that had a problem with that, you clearly have not played a sport of any kind or something. Because, one, your brothers and sisters on your team become like your family. So that's one thing. The camaraderie makes it where you don't see color. When Trey is in the trenches blocking or playing defensive line, he need the person next to him to execute and be on their A game so they can all look good. They all build off and feed off each other. Go ahead, Trey. So cut it out, y'all. That it didn't age well for you. The ones that went out there and called her an idiot and that she was ghetto and all of this, you look like you got serious egg on your face because the two athletes that you're chiming and making a big deal about literally shut all your arguments down and said, there's no beef.
There's no beef.
We're competing. And the thing is, Trey, as I come to you now, with LSU, like you said, South Carolina, Caitlin was doing this, hitting threes, backing off like, I dare you to hit that. And they weren't knocking down the shots until once the girl felt disrespected, then she hit like 3 straight or something like that. So like, yeah, guess what? She made her, that's the other part. She made her start to play her closer. But LSU just simply said, hey, Caitlin, keep that same energy that you have for South Carolina against us. Go ahead, Trey, it's on you.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean this, I'm going to say it as blunt as possible, but I mean it in the most respectful way when it comes to the genders of the game. When it comes to men college basketball, me personally, you don't have to agree with the opinion. Me personally, I think that men, of course, men and women, they both play for a way out. As you know, people would say, a way to make it to the pros, a way to make it to the professional league. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the women in the game, it's another level to it, simply because they're in society already underneath the men. So not only is it a game of basketball, it's a game of pride. Mm. It's a game to just show the world that women are right here with us. Right here with us.
I love it.
It doesn't matter what game they play, they right here with us. They might not have the views, but they putting in just as much work as us men. Yep. And it's time that society is actually seeing that women is putting in the work to be dominant and to dominate in their game. So that was just a main thing that I really wanted to say, because it's just crazy to me that you could see like an NBA game and they'll start, getting real tough and they start pushing each other and the refs start trying to separate. Right. And they'll be like, and then you'll see somebody like Pat Bev come over and push the opposing team and, it's the brotherhood. It's the brotherhood. Right. But when it comes to the game of the women, you see them doing gestures and it's somebody's an idiot for having pride in herself. She probably been working since she was about 3 years old to become the woman she is today when it comes to the game of basketball. So she has a right to have an ego and have some pride in her game, especially if she's showing it on the court and it's showing on the scoreboard. So who are you to tell her that she's not a dominant woman in the game and not somebody who's elite and somebody who's an idiot because she's just literally showing off what she can do and she's showing off, period. Showboating. It's a part of the game. It's a part of the game. Man.
To associate her being classless, with listen, we just wait to the end of the game, and then you do the same thing that you, like I said, keep that same energy. It's the end of the game. You just won. I'm supposed to just walk. Oh, let me shake your hand. And no, we gonna do it. I'm gonna let you know. I came to do what I said I was gonna do. Mm-hmm. That's what competitors do. They compete. The job is
in the biggest stage.
You want to dominate. Period. Go ahead, Trey.
In the biggest stage of college basketball, they're gonna do what they gotta do. When the bell ring, the bell ring. Somebody gonna win, somebody gonna lose. So that winner, they going They're gonna show their pride. They put in so much work to get to this point, and not just to get to this point, but to win. So of course they're gonna do a little something when they win. That's why the confetti fall. That's a celebration. They're gonna do what they feel. They're not gonna be disrespectful, but they're gonna do what they feel because they just won their game, and they're gonna have pride in themselves, in their team, because they know how much blood, sweat, and tears they had in practice. And that's just the little side of women basketball that people outside of sports and the media don't really see. They putting in just as much work. They bleeding. They getting hurt. They fighting through adversity. They taping up their ankles just to show the world that women are strong, and the fact that women can come out here and dominate the game just like a man can. So at the end of the day, they're going to come outside and they're going to do what they do. And that's exactly what LSU did. And congratulations to LSU basketball.
Listen, man, the ladies got the world's attention. Like I said, I personally can't recall, other than like Mark said, Taurasi. That's probably the last time, or like I said, when Brittany was dunking at Baylor. I don't remember it being this much visibility on the ladies like this, but it's not unwarranted. They're balling. Those players that we're naming, that we're talking about, keep in mind, David, as I get ready to come to you after Mark's comment, these ladies are coming back. They're not going. They're coming back. And there's a slew of others that are coming back.
Yeah.
So if you think it was interested now, and I got to take, after David makes his point, Mark, make your point, meat and potatoes, your point, and then David, I'm going to give you the floor. Okay. Hopefully I can hear you. I got a hot take that I'm going to put out here and hope my guru status is right. Mark, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to earlier during last week, Dawn Staley had pointed out that it was the narrative on how they go about labeling the black athlete.
Yep.
1980s, you can get that off because there was no social media.
Yep.
90s, early 90s, you can get that off.
Yep.
Can't control the narrative now because everybody has a voice. Everybody can go and make sure they hit up CBS or any major news station, petition them. We have a voice now. Everyone has a voice now. So if your voice don't kind of, and it has, and I know if there's someone listening and say, woke, you damn right I'm woke. Woke enough to see the disparity between you being able to see the exact same thing and come to a whole different conclusion, or see the exact same thing and go, it's basketball. And those who seen the exact same thing and came to a different conclusion, you're the ones who called out because it's not tolerated anymore. You can't just sit there and make disparaging points about someone. I don't care about the whole story. Don't make it about race. Now, if she was classless, would have been the other day, a couple of games ago, when the two girls are walking down, shaking each other's hand, and then one girl gets punched in the face. This happened that's classless.
That's classless.
You want to use the word classless? That's classless. Yes. You want to go and point her out? That's cool. But don't go out and point passion and turn passion into classlessness. Right. Because what happens is all you doing is putting yourself in a petri dish so we can throw a microscope and see what type of person you are.
You expose yourself for how
you
expose
really yourself. In my DJ Khaled voice, you played yourself. And you'll continue to play yourself as long as you think that everyone else around you is going to have your dumb ass views. It's not 1980 anymore. Everyone sees what's going on and everyone knows right from wrong. Yep. And in that aspect, we know that the two women played as hard as they can. Trash talking is trash talking, but they gave an excellent product of basketball that everyone next year can't wait to see. I know I can't wait to see it.
Thank you, David. I'm gonna appreciate Mark and Trey. Listen, man, applause to y'all, man. Y'all were on it. I'm about to give David the opportunity to speak. And again, if you disagree with what my experts are saying, even what I'm saying, that's fine. Speak and chime in. You can go on the chat if you see this. You can chime in the chat and put your thoughts. But David, the floor is yours. Hopefully I can hear you. Go ahead, sir. I don't hear you,
can y'all
David.
hear me? I'm sorry for the visual, but the audio.
Right. Go ahead. Don't worry about it. I know your visual was
I said
acting
sorry
up. Go ahead.
for the
Make sure
visual,
you
but
your voice.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The visual is
yours.
getting even worse. I got to replace my
do your
product.
audio.
But back to what Mark said. Back to what Mark said. This whole situation started with the lineup with the other girl punching the girl in the face. This happened after Caitlin Clark's dominant performance. So it was a trickle down effect from what people in the media wanted, right? Caitlin Clark was not wrong for doing the "you can't see me" thing. Angela Reese was not wrong for doing the "you can't" thing, and I'm about to get my ring. The media, the racist media, I'm gonna say it that way because that's what it is. The racist media.
Be clear.
The racist media turned that into something that should have never been turned into something from competitors, not male competitors, not female competitors, but competitors.
Facts.
Because we see that every day in the NBA all the time. We see LeBron with his Chucks and Jives. We see Patrick Beverly. We see the guys jumping up and down the court. So no, if you're an athlete, you got fire in you every time you shoot, every time you block a shot. You go and do something to make your team go up or take over the control.
Right.
But I will say this one thing about Caitlin Clark, and a lot of people are not going to agree with me on this.
Hey, it's your opinion.
Caitlin and her people right now need to stop, pause, and shut up. Caitlin does not need to go out there to the media and say, "Oh well, I had no problem with her doing that." Caitlin does not need to go out to the media once again and say, "Oh, the first lady," which is a whole nother subject. Don't invite Iowa to the White House.
Yeah.
We don't deserve this. I'll get there on my own. Stop. Because what you're allowing to happen is the people who started this racial divide, and they started a racial divide, you're now starting to give them a platform to deflect and make it a you against her. Black against white. Caitlin, sit back, go to basketball camps, and let everybody else point out these monsters who started this racial divide in the first place. That's the only thing I have to say about this matter, because neither one of those women was in the wrong, because we have been doing that since we was born. The moment somebody put a basketball in our hand, we was aggressive, we was arrogant about it, and when we scored or won that game, we showed off. So there's no difference between a man doing that and a woman doing that. But
there was nothing at stake then, David. That was on the playground. That was just bragging rights on the playground. What nothing at
That's
stake.
where it came from, man. It came from us. You're not going to chastise us for something that we made. That makes no sense. It's part of the game now.
It is. It is.
Go ahead, David.
It 100% is. But at this point, Caitlin Clark is feeding into the media with her comments. Clark, stop. Let us expose those racial people for what they are, and then we can get back to you and your greatness. Because right now, they want you in front of a microphone. They want to make you the villain. They want to make you the segue for what is happening. And she needs to stop. She has came on the media. She has came on the networks twice. Oh, I didn't agree with, I didn't have a problem with what Reese did. Oh, I'm not upset that, well, First Lady, don't invite us to the White House. I'll get there on my own. The media, the racist media, is loving that because they're making you the villain when they are the actual villain. So Caitlin Clark, please stop.
Yeah.
They're looking for validation. They're looking for validation from them.
Once
That's
David,
all.
Yes.
once David finishes his point, I'm gonna make 1 point and then throw out my guru hat to see if something gonna happen, and then we're gonna transition because we gave him a good amount of time. But go ahead, David, as you wrap up give me your meat and potatoes.
Yes. Yeah, like Mark just said, like they are looking for a voice to a problem that they started. Caitlyn, just get off the airwaves. Just get off the airwaves. You had a phenomenal year. You had a phenomenal